Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lota and today I will be talking about things that you should know before living abroad, whether it's for university or for a job. These are a few things that you should keep in mind before moving. I'm now living abroad in South Korea for university and I have learned a couple of things along the way, so I hope to share it with you so that you don't have to go through the same struggles as I did. Number one, I would make sure that you know exactly what you need for the visa process. Now for me, I'm very fortunate to have a great passport, but of course, a student visa is something else. A work visa is something else. So make sure that you read up on exactly what you need to do before you're able to enter the country, and make sure that is done in time so that you can be where you need to be on time without any stress or worries that something might be wrong or that you might encounter something on arrival that you can't fix. Number two, it's important to know when you're moving abroad how long you're gonna be there. It is important that you bring clothes for both humid, hot weather, for example, for Korea, and winter clothing so that you're not moving into the winter and you're like, oh shit, I don't have winter clothes. I thought it was gonna be hot. Well, seasons change. Weather changes. So don't only think, oh, like when I get there it's gonna be hot, I should bring summer clothes. No. Bring winter clothing as well if you know that that season is approaching in the time that you're gonna be there. Because yes, you can buy things where you're at, but it could be very expensive. They could not have your sizing. It could be hard to find shops that have decent proper clothing for that. I just feel like it's always nice to just have one with you already so that you know you're squared away and that you don't have to go running to a shop when you get there and it starts to get cold and you don't have winter clothing or shirts that are long sleeved or whatever. You don't have to buy a whole wardrobe when you get there. Number three, it is very important that you find a good translator app. If you're moving to a country with a language that you do not speak, it is important that you find a translator app that you're able to write down whatever sentence or copy and paste whatever sentence into, and then it gives a proper translation, but also has a feature where you can take photos and it translates what's in the photo, because that will be very useful in many situations. Because yes, for example, in Korea, there is a lot of English translation on signage where it has it in Korean and in English, and that's very easy for me. But you will be in situations where that is not the case, where you didn't understand something in a announcement, you're not sure what stop you're at, but it's on the board, but it's only in Korean. It is very important that you're able to take a photo of that and then have it translated for you, especially for languages where the alphabet is not the same when you're comfortable typing in, for example, like in Korea, in China, in Japan, etc., Thailand, etc., etc. Arab countries, it's the same thing. If you don't know Arabic and you don't know how to write or type Arabic characters, you're gonna have a really hard time doing those types of things. So make sure that your translator app has a camera function and that is squared away, so when you find yourself in those situations, you're able to just not panic. Do not just default to Google Translate, because sometimes that shit's whack, okay? Number four, in the same line as language, I would, if you're moving to a country with a language that is different from your own, I would at least learn a little bit. The basics, very like surface level stuff. If you're there for a long time, I do suggest that once you're there, you immerse yourself, you try to speak as much as possible. But when you're first going, I would learn simple basic phrases. For example, hello, thank you, where is ... For example, bathroom / toilet, bus station, train station, restaurant, like very basic stuff. Maybe learn left, right. So like when people actually give you directions, you understand what they're saying. And learn how to order food. Please, can I have this? Learn how to say water. Learn how to say, like, you know, these very simple, basic things that you'll use most on a daily basis, because it will help you so much. I'm sure that people speak a little bit of English, but there will always be instances, you know, it's always like a little bit of a different experience if you actually speak a little bit, just a tiny bit, and they appreciate it so much, and I'm sure that you'll get a better response out of those people as well by doing just a little bit to accommodate for them as well. Number 5, check the requirements for moving into your accommodation. For university students who are going to South Korea specifically, I would recommend that you know where you can get a tuberculosis test nearby your dormitory, because that is always a given for your check-in. For me, every time I check into my dorm, I have to do a TB test. So make sure that you check your check-in requirements for your accommodation. It could be that you don't need anything. You don't need a TB test, like that's very specific to South Korea. You might not need it at all. You might not need anything, just like your name, your passport probably. But if you do need something, that you know where you can get that, and that you're not stuck without accommodation because you couldn't check in because you didn't have what you needed. Number 6, I recommend that you, upon arrival, you get some local currency right away, like cash, so that when you're in a pickle or when you need it, you can just give cash, especially in situations where they don't take your credit card, your specific credit card. It's important that you have cash on hand, because that's a given that they take that because it's in the local currency, you know. So it's important to research what kind of credit cards that are most likely to be taken in that country. For example, in Korea, they are good with American Express. I can use my American Express card everywhere, but in, for example, Qatar, my American Express card does not work in a lot of places. So it's very important to know what cards are most likely to be used and approved in that country, and to have some cash on hand in case that ever happens. Number 7, I would recommend researching what transportation looks like in this country. Public transportation, taxi fees, Ubers. Do I need a rental car? Is it needed to get a rental car in the first place? Or can I get everywhere with public transportation? For example, in Korea, their metro system is incredibly connected. So is their bus system. So I do not need a car. I don't even have a driver's license. And I can get anywhere I want with public transportation. But that is not the case in a lot of countries. So I would recommend searching up the best possible ways to get around, whether it's the bus system, metro system, where you need probably transportation cards. For example, in Korea, this is the Team Money card. You can get CU cards, etc., etc. But in other countries, this looks different. It's different everywhere. They have their own transportation systems, but in a lot of countries, maybe they're not as reliable. They're always late. They don't run as often. They're not as interconnected. You can't get everywhere you want just using public transportation. And then it might be interesting getting a rental car. So I think it's quite important to research that before you go, so you know what you're doing when you get there. And that's not all last minute stuff that you're like, oh shit, I can't get anywhere I want on time with public transportation. And then, you know, you get into situations you don't want to be in. Number 8, I would research where you can do the things that you love to do most in this country. For example, dancing, rock climbing, running, going to the gym, you know, these types of things. Where can you go in your area where you can keep doing the thing that you love to do, your hobby, as much as you did before, so that you're not a completely different person now that you just like moved to this country and you're stripped from the happiness that this thing gives you, because that's really important. I think if you go to this place very often, for example to the gym, Or for me, I go to dance a lot. It's a really helpful tool to find people who are like-minded, have the same interests, and to socialize and settle into this new country, but also to keep doing the thing that you like to do and that gives you happiness, even though you've moved countries. Especially when you feel so like new to a place and you feel like you have to change all these things about you. That's not the case. You can still do the things that you love in this new place, and it's just very important that you find out where you can do that. In my case, I am a dancer. I love to dance, that's my thing, but I live in Incheon, which is 2 hours away from Seoul, where most of the dance studios are that I would love to go to. For example, 1 Million Dance Studio. That's 2 hours from my dorm, and it's 2 hours there, 2 hours back. That's a lot of time that I'm taking out of my day to go take an hour and a half max dance class. It's just not feasible for an everyday thing. So I joined my campus dance team, which I absolutely love. I love Glow, that's what it's called. And I'm now dance director of my dance team. And it's going great, and I love doing it. And I've made so many of my friends from this dance team. And they're some of the closest friends that I have in Korea because we love the same thing and we're very like-minded. It's just like, it's a very simple thing, but it can make a big difference in your experience in this new country. Number 9, I recommend that you socialize as much as humanly possible in the first month to 3 months that you're in a new country, because it is so important in creating a network of people that are a support system for you in this new country. If you are alone, by yourself, in a new country, away from home, it is so incredibly lonely. And it will feel like that sometimes, because the people that you first meet, that you go socialize with, that you go out with to like have dinner or whatever, you'll come back home and it won't feel the same as back home, because these are new people, you don't know them. And it's not going to feel the same at first, but it's apparent that when they ask you again to hang out, that you say yes. Say yes as much as possible, because it will make all the difference to your experience there. People make all the difference. Even people who intimidate you, people who you don't think you'll be friends with, talk to them. Talk to as many people as you can. Be friendly, outgoing, and if you're not that type of person, pretend that you are. Just pretend. Honestly, because it will make all the difference. At first, when I moved to Korea, I locked myself up and I made like a few friends, but not as much as I could have if I really like was as outgoing as I could have been. And it was really, really lonely, and it was really hard for me. I wanted to go home. I wanted to leave. I thought, this is not for me. I can't do it, you know. But once I put myself out there and I made more friends, and I realized that, you know, you can build a support system in a new country, it makes such a huge difference to your experience there. And I really, really recommend that you do that as much as possible. And lastly, number 10, be kind to yourself. It's gonna take a while to settle in, to become comfortable in your environment, to feel like you're good, you know. But it's important during that adjustment period, during, you know, awkward encounters where you're trying to meet new people, but you feel like it's not gelling, and you're telling yourself, oh, that, like, it's me, I'm the one that's awkward, I don't know how to socialize with people. No. This is a normal experience. You're in a new country, you feel uncomfortable because you don't know your surroundings. You don't know these people, they're strangers, and that can be very scary sometimes because you don't know if they'll like you, you don't know if who they are, like if they're gonna be nice to you, if they're gonna be welcoming. It's normal that you feel nervous and that you maybe don't want to talk to everyone, even though you want to be outgoing. That's completely normal, and it's really, really apparent that you give yourself some grace in those situations, and in those situations you're nice to yourself. Just to trust the process and to trust that it will get better with time, because there's definitely going to be a period of time where you're uncomfortable, for sure. You're in an unfamiliar place. It is so normal to feel like you want to leave. You want to go back home. You want to go back to what you know, what you love, what works for you. But that's where you grow the most. That's where you learn the most about yourself. And it's apparent that you are as nice to yourself as possible in that period, because it can be very hard to get through. And you'll go through a lot of emotions. You'll go through a lot of periods where you just want to give up. You just want to leave. And that's okay. Have those moments. But it's so important that you get back up and you tell yourself that it's gonna be okay and that you have your own back in those moments. You just need to go through that little bit of time where you're uncomfortable to be able to come out at the other end of it. And if anyone's in that position right now, I promise it gets better. I promise you'll find yourself feeling comfortable in this new place at some point. It will become familiar at some point. You just need to go through this period of time where it is not. And it's gonna take a little while, but it'll be okay. And just be nice to yourself while you're adjusting. There you have it. Those were 10 things you should know before moving abroad. I hope that you learned something from this video and that you'll take it moving forward into your new experience. I hope it gives you everything you were hoping it will, and that you grow as a person in this new chapter of your life. Thank you so much for staying till the end. I'm very thankful. And if you like this video, don't be scared to check out my other videos on my channel and to subscribe, like, and comment what you want me to do in the future. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I love you so much. Mwah.